Hi, everyone. I'm standing at the back of St. Andrew's Anglican Church in our parish here in Petitcodiac. And it's a pretty nice church, as all things go. And no, parishioners aren't making me say that right at the moment. It really is a nice church. The problem with churches for some are that no matter how nice they are, no matter how well kept they are, no matter how old they are, or how big they are, or how important they are, this place doesn't seem welcoming to them. They could have been here all along, and they could have been here all along, but they may never have set foot inside of a church. In fact, they may never have set foot inside any church because they believe that to them, there's a problem, and that is the door is closed to them. And many of us in the church say, oh, that's terrible, they shouldn't think that, but it's hard to get over if you happen to be one of those people. What could be fixed about this? How could this be made better? Well, as always, and not just because a priest is asking these questions, but Jesus has some answers for us. So what to do if this door represents a barrier to people and the church? What do we do when people feel like they can't really access God or even pray to God or talk to God in any way? Well, one of the things about Jesus in Holy Week especially is that he made a lot of choices. He chose to be there in the first place. He chose to teach about forgiveness. He chose to teach all things to all people, including those that society pushed to the side. You know, the people that most don't like to spend a lot of time with. Sometimes it's immigrants. Sometimes it's people who are homeless. Sometimes it's people who don't drive the best car or, live in the right parts of town, if you know what I mean. Jesus showed an affinity and a desire to reach them almost more than other people. One of the things he chose to do was that he chose to die. He chose to give up his life and carry the sins of everybody, which seems unfathomable to us. It seems really hard to comprehend. But when he did, we read that curtain that was in the temple was torn in two, and it represented the barrier between God and humanity was no longer there. You see, the people who lived when Jesus was being brought up, to the Jewish people, they believed they needed someone to pray for them to God. Earlier on, in the very beginnings of their existence, it was Moses. And Moses was the one who was told to go pray to God for them because they didn't feel they could. Later on, it would be kings or others. The high priest in the Jewish faith system was considered the one who could have the closest connection, could go into the temple, into the innermost part of the temple, but only on one day of the year. And only into that most holy of holy places for that one day to pray for the people. When Jesus died and that curtain that divided these places was torn in two, it was like that door was being opened. And you no longer needed a priest, a high priest, so someone specially set apart by God to pray for you. You could pray yourself. You could talk to God and God would hear you because there was no longer any barrier between God and the people that he loves, the people that he made. And what does that mean to be able to walk through that door? It means no boundary, no barrier, no closed door between you and God. Everyone should feel like they can talk to God because God loves us all. And the events of Holy Week prove that. The things that Jesus chose to do, not for himself, to obey the Father. And God is the one who, out of love for all of us, gave his son to do these things. And today, you don't need a priest. You don't need someone special. You can access God for yourself. We'll see you soon.